Anyway.
Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bold Explorer, and this is the lovely Julia. Hello, Julia.
Hello, Richard.
We're on a special mission today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, today we're in Shoreham, which is down on the coast in West Sussex, on the busy high street here, by a particularly beautiful old building. Where are we, Julia?
Yeah, we're at the Marlipins Museum.
I can't get my words around it. Say it again.
Marlipins Museum.
It's a historically old and fascinating building. It is, as you say, it is a museum, but that's not the main reason. We do actually want to come back here and look at the museum.
Yes, I've already been speaking to them about doing a video about the building.
But we're here to have a look at what's been launched today and is on for a few months.
Until 31st October, I believe.
That's it. The Shoreham Fort exhibition. So it's all inside, promises to be really good. Shall we go in and have a look?
Yes.
Come on, let's do it. Hey, Julia.
Hey, Richard.
Yeah, isn't this exciting?
Yeah.
So we're now obviously inside the Marlipins down on Shoreham Front, and here we are. This is the exhibition, Friends of Shoreham Fort.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking of coming along, you've got to be quick. You've got to get in before we leave Brexit, basically, because
The 31st of October, the exhibition comes down.
So what is there to see, Julia, in this exhibition? It's in a very spacious room with the whole story, or at least a condensed version, because I'm sure the whole story is very, very long and dramatic, of
There's
Shoreham
a lot of
Fort.
details in Shoreham Fort's history.
But we have these wonderful display boards which have some terrific...
Some very good highlights from
and probably, I'm sure it would not be a lie to say, some previously unseen pictures.
Yes, certainly. I've
Because they always say that, don't they? So it's got to be true. It's got to be true.
Unseen footage. Come and see it here.
And we've got this terrific timeline here, which has little snippets from 1628, I think it is.
Yeah.
No, 1514. 1514, which I'm just trying to think what happened in 3:15, isn't it? And it goes all the way along there. It's a huge line of interesting things that happened down in Shoreham Seafort. And we're going to have a chat to the very lovely Gary Baines, who's a mate of the show.
I was going to say, I think we spotted our friend
He's already down there.
Gary over there.
But the other things that you can see are memorabilia. They've got cabinets here with swords and part of the costume.
Yes.
I say costume, the uniform, I suppose, is the right terminology. Yes. And something that you like.
Unicorns.
Unicorns.
There's a couple of unicorns around here.
Now, tell me about the unicorns. I mean, these aren't fairy tale unicorns. These are...
Well, no, they're mythical, aren't they?
Yes.
It doesn't matter where you find them.
But I mean, how are they...
They're actually on the what do you call it? Regalia.
The insignia
yes,
and stuff.
That's it. The royal insignia.
Yes.
So
yes.
you'll find them on caps, on military caps and
I think that's worth mentioning, because I
and
think a lot of people often
crest.
you see unicorns as cartoon characters now, and you think, oh, that's it. But actually, they've got a much older history, haven't they?
yes. I mean, since biblical times.
Yes, but it's interesting that they're being used in military insignia. That's what I think is quite interesting. It's the heraldry, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's heraldry, and it's. I do believe that it's supposed to represent Scotland.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. So the unity of the nations.
Yeah, the lion being England.
Being the British lion.
Yeah.
Rah. I've got a delightful mane, whereas oh wait, no, it's the other way around. I think we should try and find the lovely Gary Baines.
Yes, let's.
And find out actually what's going on. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, no,
Hello.
good. Lovely,
Julia.
Hello, mate.
Good.
lovely to see you. Now, Gary, what are you up to? You have brought your wonderful fort across from the harbour, or from the seaside, here to the Marlipins.
We have indeed, yes. It's a good working partnership that we've got with the Marlipins Museum, and we thought it was an ideal opportunity to have an exhibition in the back room here of the museum.
I want to know why you haven't done it before.
Oh, we have actually done
have
it before,
you?
but not to this professional quality.
Yeah,
so
and it is. We've just been having a look round at all the wonderful boards and things, and the pictures and all of that, and it's very knowledgeable.
It looks marvellous, doesn't it?
So tell us what the purpose is.
So I think the first purpose here is to give people an idea that actually, rather than just being a ruin at the end of Shoreham Beach, there's a great deal of history. And as you come up the stairs, I think the wow factor is the amount of information that's in this room. We're not expecting you to read the whole of the timeline, but by putting it there, it does show that there's a great deal of history to our little monument on the end of Shoreham Beach.
Now, that was the impressive thing, your timeline with all those what looked like tickets, you know, at 45-degree angles. They look really good, and they've all got these sort of one-line or one-sentence bits of history. Can you pull out a couple of those for us, of events that have happened?
Oh, there's several that I would like to pick out. We're picking out on the social history more than anything. So there's award ceremonies that have happened in local places such as Swiss Gardens or Brighton Pavilion. There's royal visitors that have been to the fort to see how well the soldiers were dressed.
Which royal visitors are you
Duke
talking?
of Edinburgh.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Was that part of the Duke of Edinburgh War? Oh, no.
No, bit
before,
predating that,
yeah.
yeah. But there's lots and lots of information in there. But it's mainly social history as well, just to prove to people that there were local people involved. And you might even find on a lot of the exhibits here that there are relatives of yours actually on the timeline or on the muster roll. So if you find that out, then please come forward, because we'd love to hear from living relatives of the people that were at Shoreham Fort.
I think the social history is one of the things that really brings people in if they're not that interested in military things. Social, you know, how people were involved, the actual people who went to the fort, worked at the fort, and their relations and what it meant to them. That I know we've spoken before about the pride people had.
Oh, definitely. There was a huge amount of pride back then. They had to pay for their own uniforms and everything. So there was a massive amount of pride. But it's getting back to how the military actually affected the local area as well. People don't realise that things like the local post office, if you go to the old post office in Shoreham, it's much bigger than it needed to be when it was built for 4,000 people. The reason for that is because it's for the amount of training camps that we had in the First World War around us. So it was a sorting camp for anything up to 100,000 soldiers.
Wow.
So yeah, it's changed our local landscape. The reason that we've got Southlands Hospital is because that was a hospital for the First World War. It's just, there's loads of stuff around us, and unless you look at the social element, you won't get those stories that tell you a bit more about the landscape we're in as well.
Yes, so the architecture itself, although it's got its story, there's that social reason behind it.
Yeah, and of course it's protecting towns. It's not just Shoreham, it's Portslade, it's Worthing, so it's bringing everyone together. You'll see there's a lovely picture of all of our soldiers on Worthing seafront helping launch the lifeboats to raise money for the RNLI, and behind that is all of our soldiers and the band. So they've travelled all the way to Worthing because there's such a massive band and a great amount of people in these uniforms that it makes that impact that they wanted to try and raise the money for the RNLI. So don't just think of Shoreham Fort as Shoreham, it's the surrounding areas and what it's helped achieve as well.
Well, that's it. So going forward into the future, what are the plans? I know you've got some very big plans long term, but what sort of things are you aiming to do in the next couple of years that people might get involved in?
Right, well the next thing on the agenda for us is to build a training trench. We're very much about bringing the history to life at Shoreham. As you know, you've been to the military history weekend where we're all in uniforms and we fire cannons. We want to be able to bring the kids and the adults to Shoreham Fort and teach them through education, through experience. So we're going to build, hopefully, a First World War training trench at Shoreham Fort, but it will be out of concrete. It's above ground as well, so there's no risk of anyone falling in it at 1 o'clock in the morning. But it's built above ground with concrete sandbags, so it'll be a lasting memorial to all of those men that trained around Shoreham. And I think that's going to be a massive asset, but we are going to need volunteers. 3,500 sandbags filled with cement.
What are you looking at, Julia?
This very interesting touchscreen computer.
I think this is the one that Gary was telling me about that has been designed by one of their supporters and fellow friends, I suppose, Andy.
Yeah, it looks all very good.
So it's a touchscreen interpretation board, I suppose?
Yes, there's lots of information bits. There's bits about the Nissan Hut.
Go on, press one of the buttons and see what happens.
Right, in the newspaper. So, right, so every single time it's been in the newspaper, in Shoreham Fort, the article is here.
Oh, so if you wanted to do some research
Yeah.
You can access all those articles.
All here.
All here. How brilliant is that? Gary,
Yes, Richard.
I'm standing on a chair, ladies and gentlemen. I am actually standing on a chair because if I don't stand on a chair, look, I look like a midget. So I'm standing on a chair just to get up.
Am I really that tall?
He is a giant.
Sorry.
Now, Gary, you
Yes.
have something here which is quite precious. I mean, apart from everything else here, which is all displayable, but this is something that's quite precious.
It is.
And it's not here for very long.
It's not. It's on temporary loan.
What is it?
It's a 64-pounder shell, which is one of the shells that would have been fired from our cannons, the Palliser conversion cannons at Shoreham Fort. Now, there's only about 3 of these that we know of in the country, and this is on loan from Chapel Bay Fort in Wales.
Wow. What sort of gunpowder power do you need to fire a shell, and how far could something like that go?
It would have travelled about 4,500 yards at about 380 miles per hour.
Gosh.
So a lot more powder than we put in the cannon at Military History Weekend.
Yes,
That's
I
for
bet.
sure.
Yeah. And quite a loud bang, I should think.
Very much so. If we were
Yeah.
to fire one of these now, I don't think a house on Shoreham Beach would have a window.
So it would do quite a lot of damage, that hitting you.
Yeah, it certainly would. That's
Yeah.
what it was designed to do. It's
Yeah, no, of
designed to
course.
sink ships.
But that one's never been fired then, presumably?
Never been fired.
No.
So
it's going back to your uncle.
yeah, on Thursday.
So
yeah.
and where does he live?
So Chapel Bay in Pembrokeshire, Wales.
Does he have his own cannon and have that sort of aimed out in case anybody comes for
He
him?
does, yeah. Yeah, in his own fort, yeah.
Sounds like a good man.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Can I get off the chair now?
If you must.
Yes.
Midget.
There we go. Don't know about you, Julia.
I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Me too.
There's
me
so
too.
much to see,
Yeah.
and it's very educational, and it's all about the heritage of this part of West Sussex. Fantastic. So I would recommend anybody to go and have a look at it. Limited time, of course, and also the Marlipins itself. What a wonderful old building.
Absolutely fantastic. It's full of seeped in history, really.
It was an effort to drag you past all the souvenirs. Anyway,
And the unicorns.
and the unicorns. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and of course leave a comment. And you can of course help us make more videos by becoming a patron. But from Julia and I in Shoreham, it's lovely to see you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Right, cup of tea?
Yes, I think so.
I think so.